So welcome back to the channel and welcome back to another video. As you can see here, we have the Mark IV TDI wagon that 18 videos ago I made my first YouTube video on. So if you didn't see that video, just a basic summary of what I did to this car. I swapped it from an AWP 1.8 turbo. I know, not traditional to what I usually do. Usually I'm into swapping 1.8 turbos, but we converted this from 1.8T AWP to LH TDI. So in doing that, I also ended up doing some other stuff to the car. So we ended up putting in some black leather interior and ended up just generally cleaning up the car and doing a bunch of work to it. Now, with that being said, this car is nothing special. Obviously, as you guys can see, there's not really that much, it's not special. It's just a regular stock, TDI wagon at this point. But that brings us to this video. So basically, this is, kind of the Mark IV owner starter pack in some ways. But we got a set of WRD coilovers for the car. We have a pair of 1.8T 20th anniversary GLI side skirts. We have the 20th anniversary GLI front valance and the factory rear wagon valance that I paint matched. We also have some black front side markers. We have some dark housing headlights for the car, and we also have a set of ASA AS1 wheels that are obviously black with the polished lip and are, going to be a bit of an upgrade to the factory beat up Avises that are on it now. So I actually wasn't really planning on doing this to this car. This car's just been sitting, haven't really been doing much with it, and it actually only is happening right now because I was at a swap meet a couple of weeks ago, and I came across those side skirts and the front valance. And it kind of got me thinking, because those parts are not really very easy to find. You don't see them that often. So seeing them in relatively good condition, made me thinking about doing something with this car and making it look a little bit cooler. So, I'm going through and looking in our warehouse, and because if I haven't mentioned previously, we have a shop called Close German Auto, me and my dad. So we sell used VW and Audi parts, and so we do a lot of that, and also service work and part out cars. So we have those pieces, and I'm going through the warehouse, I'm coming up with the wheels, the suspension, and I'm like, you know what, I may as well do something with this car. It's nothing cool right now, and I did put a bunch of work into it, so it'd be really neat if the whole car was, something a little bit more of something that's cool. So that's exactly what this video is about now, and we're going to be transforming this car and making it look a lot less stock than it does currently. Now, the first thing I'm going to do is go ahead and put the coilovers on, and there are about probably 50 million videos on how to install Mark IV suspension, so we're really not going to go into a whole lot of detail on that because, well, it's not something that's very A, complicated, and B, something that is certainly very well covered. So if you need a really informational video on how to install those, there's plenty of other ones that you can check out. We're just going to get the suspension installed because we're just trying to get this car looking good. And like I said, there are so many videos that are informational on how to install Mark IV coilovers that I don't need to add to that pile of videos. So I'm going to go ahead and install these coilovers on this thing off camera pretty much. I'll show you guys some parts of when I'm doing it, but we're not going to go fully in depth. So this is not exactly an informational video on how to install the coilovers. The rest of the stuff I'm going to film and show you guys, but the Mark IV coilovers, as I said, is something that is very well covered on YouTube, so I'm not going to worry too much about that. But I'm going to go ahead, get this thing up in the air, and start on taking off the factory suspension and getting on the upgraded coilovers. Alright, so we went ahead and just got right into it. So, I already have the old strut pulled out, and you may look at it and think, oh, it looks like it's new. It's because it is, because I literally just put it in. Because I was not expecting to do this with this car. Nonetheless, that's now removed. We got new coilover here, and basically, like I said, incredibly simple. And there's plenty of DIY videos, but basically, you just take the top bolt out, and then that takes the top portion off here, and then down at the bottom, there's one bolt you take out there, take off the 16 millimeter that holds the sway bar of the control arm, and then you take the 13 millimeters out of the ball joint, the 30 millimeter off of the axle, and that allows you to go ahead and pull the whole entire assembly out. And at this point, we're going to go ahead and throw in the coilover and the set down, and we're going to just keep going. Like I said, there's plenty of DIY videos, so I just want to get this done, get this lowered, and then we're going to continue on with the other parts of the body kit to do this. Alright, so the front is all finished, as you guys saw by the few little clips that I showed you. Like I said, not going into full detail on this because it's just Mark IV suspension. There's plenty of videos on it. I've now got the rear of the car jacked up, and also we had a bit of a casualty when doing that. I ended up stripping out a lug bolt, which, is not a normal thing, but the socket that I had, it cracked, and it rounded out the lug. So unfortunate situation, but luckily it was able to be resolved pretty quickly. I was able to pound a 12.58 socket over top of it and pulled it right out. So that worked out good. Unfortunate that, you know, my socket broke and caused that, but at least it didn't turn into a mess. So that's a good thing. So this one I'm going to go ahead and take the rear springs out and rear shocks and put in the new rear shocks and springs, and then we're going to be done with the lowering portion of the project. All right, so we're about to set the car down with full suspension and the wheels for the first time. Give it a look. So here we go. Well, it's pretty low. The jack's stuck under it. There we go. Oh boy, man, we are tucking in the rear, that's for sure. Thing looked good. All right, so here's a look at the car now lowered. In my opinion, this thing, you know, this thing's looking really good. I mean, we're definitely, you know, pretty low in the front, got a little bit of a gap down in the back. We're definitely tucking a little bit, but you know, we'll see what happens as far as how low it is, if it's too low or not. But if you ask me, definitely is looking pretty good. Now the one problem is on the other side, which I'm sure you guys noticed, there is some damage on the rear quarter. So I had to trim the fender liner a little bit just to get this to the tire to not scrub, because it is tucked up so far. So, you know, that is something that I'd like to have removed at some point, but for right now, tucked it up the way that it is. At this point, we have finished up the lowering portion of this, and now we still got plenty more to go. So things already looking really good, and we got a lot more things to install. So next thing we're going to do is I'm going to go ahead and jack the front of it up. We're going to go ahead and pull the bumper, replace the headlights, replace the side markers, and put on our 20th GLI front splitter lip thing. And then from there, we're going to move on to the side skirts, and then finally the rear piece, and then that will be all of what we're going to be doing to this car, and hopefully it's going to be looking really good. So I'm going to go ahead, jack this thing up, and then we're going to get to pulling the bumper off. All right, so at this point in time, it's definitely going to vary as far as what it takes to remove a bumper off of a Mark IV, because some of them are held on the factory way, and some of them have a combination of, oh, I don't know, Phillips head screws, self-trappers, things like that. So they've often been affixed in strange ways. But this one is pretty much held together factory-wise, so we're going to have a T25 on my electric ratchet, because that makes it easy, and go ahead and pull these T25 screws out of the bumper. Going to be 4 if you have all of them. So we're going to do that. Next thing is I'm going to pull the grill out. So this grill is already broken and kind of decrepit, so it's going to be, you know, relatively easy to get out because it's so broken. But basically you do that, then lift up. It's a little metal clip. You're going to lift up the little metal clip, and then take a flathead screwdriver and go in between the rod, turn that, and drop the little pin and clip. Hopefully we'll be able to retrieve that. As I mentioned, my grill is kind of disintegrating, but I'm going to set that off to the side. All right, so we're now going to go ahead with T30 and remove all of these bolts on the bumper. So there are 5 T30 bolts that hold the top portion of the bumper on. Then what we have to do is go ahead and pop out bumper grills. There's one, and then there's going to be a screw under here, but this one appears to be missing. And then go ahead and pop this side out. Sometimes these are affixed with screws, sometimes they're not. So, you know, again, it's old, you never know. But it appears as though there's not a bolt on that side either, so, because it's just pulled off. So, at that point, then go ahead and slide the bumper off, and then go ahead and disconnect your side markers. So just pull these out on one side, and then go ahead, pull the one out on the other side, just like that. Front bumper is removed. Once you get the bumper off, it's a good idea to go ahead and retrieve your pins if the car decided to eat them like mine did. So, got this nice long, you know, screwdriver and pulled it right out. So that's the pin that I was talking about that fell down. And then the clip is this right here. And that fell down, luckily. That didn't fall down into anything, that just fell onto the ground. Now, as far as removing the headlights, we're going to have 4 T25 bolts, on 2 on the top and 2 on the bottom. So we're going to go ahead and remove those, and then pull the headlight out. Use a flathead and try your best not to break the clip. Sometimes it's tricky, but you can do it. And old headlight is out. So we've got our new headlight here, and I learned from last video, I got new bulbs for it. I didn't assume that it came with bulbs this time, but got our new headlight here. I'll give you guys nice peeling off the plastic. Just like that. So it's surprisingly good looking headlights. You can tell by what it says there. I got them off Amazon. These were $90 something, and honestly, I'm very impressed with how they look overall. They look like the factory headlights, but you know, don't come for me. But I wanted this thing to look good, but we're also doing this, you know, kind of on a budget. So these headlights were definitely the budget-friendly option, and I'm pretty happy with how they look. But I'm gonna go ahead, put this back into the car. So obviously very simple. Just put it back in, then plug it in. And just like that, new headlight is in. Now I'm going to go ahead and throw the bolts on, and then we're going to move on to the other side. I don't know about you guys, but, you know, would you rather have this, or would you rather have this? I mean, in my opinion, this looks really good. It's definitely a large upgrade to the factory ones, and I think with the rest of these black wheels and the overall look of the car, I think that the black, basically GLI headlights are really going to accent this car quite well. So like I said, I'm going to go ahead and pull this one off and then put the other one in, and then we're going to move on to putting the new side markers and the splitter onto the front bumper. All right, so new headlights are in, looking amazing. We're now going to move on to the splitter on the bumper and the side markers, changing these ambers out to black. So you're going to go ahead and get right into that. Now, removing this thing is a bit time consuming, but it's not very difficult. Basically what you have to do is take these plastic clips and get a screwdriver in between them and just pry them out. So you're just going to go through and do this, and basically I'm just going to go do this through the whole entire thing. Once you get some points, you can just pull it off, but other times you just got to pry on it. So we're going to go through and pry this whole thing off. Well, I'm not going to say just like that because that was a pain, but got the splitter off. So now we're going to go ahead and install our new one. So just going to want to line this thing up here. Start at this one end. This first clip. This bumper is actually broken at the corner, so the one first clip is not there, but I'm gonna go ahead, try to get this lined up and get it started, and then just pop these clips in all around the edge. Got that started. Almost there. These last ones can be a little bit of a pain, but got it there. There we go. Just like that. The front lift is on, and that thing is looking pretty cool. All right, so at this point, the final thing to do is to replace our ambers with our blacked out ones. So these things can be a little tricky, but basically what you want to do is take a screwdriver and go in between, pop it out, just like that. And now I'll go ahead, get out our new ones, and just match it up to whichever one you need. Go again with peeling that plastic off. Just like that. There we go. Now we'll go ahead and put it in the same way we took it out. So push this side in, you're going to push it down, pop the back in there, and then push the front, just like that. New blacked out side marker, and this is going to look a lot better with our blacked out new front headlights. So at this point, I'm going to go ahead, do the other side, and then we're going to get to putting the bumper back in the car. Got to give you pulling the plastic off of this one too. That one's much better. All right, now we're going to get a first look of the car with the new bumper. So hang this on here, and then go ahead and don't forget to plug your side markers in, which we're going to do right now. Just make sure you line up the little slots in the plug the light, because these things do like to break quite easily. Go ahead and do that side. Go on over to this side. And now slide the bumper off. Just like that. Does it look good? I haven't seen it yet. Oh man, I am a fan of that. Can't wait to get this thing outside. All right, let's wrap up getting this bumper installed, move on to the side skirts, and get this thing outside. All right, so whole front bumper is on. Everything is all good. I also went ahead and put the back one off camera just because I wanted to get it done, and it was just clipping it in the exact same ways we clipped the front one in. Now, the final thing left with this is going to be to attach the side skirts. So I also have purchased a tool that literally just showed up today. It is a riv nut tool, and basically, if you don't know what a riv nut is, it is basically these little inserts, and you thread this insert into the end of the tool, and then you pull the tool outward, and it crimps this and puts it into a hole that you drill, which basically is just a threaded insert. So in this case, this is going to be really cool because it's going to bolt through these tabs here, which is going to make this side skirt easily removable, and that you can remove and reinstall it as many times as you'd like, because, well, with this insert, you're not going to wear it out as if it were be like a rough thread or just like a drilled hole. You're only going to be able to run it in 1, 2, maybe 3 times before you end up just under here. When you have it screwed in under there, it's just going to rip out the metal and it's not going to work out. So with this, we're going to be able to use these 10mm bolts, and we'll be able to unbolt and bolt the side skirt as many times as we want, and it's not going to harm anything if it needs to come off at any point. All right, I've tried to give you guys a good angle, but basically right there is the hole that we're going to be putting the insert in. So basically I drilled the hole out to a size where that just fits in there. So basically the way that you use this tool is you take, you got the threaded part on the end, you go ahead and take this and then you thread it onto there, then stick that into the hole, and then you go ahead and pull this tight, but I don't have the jack up high enough, of course. So give me 1 second. So now basically what you do is you just pull this like that, pull it tight, and take it there. There's this knob here. You turn the knob, and then you have removed the thread, and now you have a nice threaded insert here. So it's gonna be all good to go. So now we'll be able to thread in the side skirts and take them on and off as many times as we like. Give you guys another look here. We're gonna go ahead and do the second one. So said drill the hole out, put the insert in, and pull this down like that, open it up, and then turn it so that you can remove it from the threads. Like that, and then be able to thread in a bolt just like that. I mean, this thing is really cool. I've owned this thing for about an hour, and this is the first time I've ever used it, but this thing is already pretty sick and well worth the money. I'll put a picture in of where the listing on Amazon, it was like 40 bucks, but I mean, already it's shown me that the thing definitely works pretty well. I mean, it's, just a typical Chinese tool, but it seems all right, so we'll see how it holds up. But and this was an M6, so that was what the 10mm was. So it'd be different if you're doing something else. But for this one, using a factory VW 10mm bolt with finer threads, it's an M6 metric. All right, so one other thing that we do have to do here is put some sticky tape on here, because that's actually supposed to be on there from the factory. It has adhesive that holds it on up at the top. So right here, I have this 3M double-sided tape. All right, so once you've got all of the double-sided tape on, then go ahead and take the red part. Go ahead and pull this all off. So now that we've put our inserts in and we have put the double-sided tape on, we're now going to be able to affix the side skirt to the car. So just going to line it up here. Make sure that line it up on the front first, because that is where the one factory hole is, so that kind of aligns the whole thing. And we'll just go ahead and do that. We'll just put some pressure on there to affix the sticky tape to the side. And then we'll take one of our 10 millimeters that we put the rib nut inserts in and just go ahead and thread that thing in there. Still definitely very happy with that purchase, and it's definitely a very cool tool, so very happy to have it. You guys can pick your own up. Like I said, I'll insert a picture of the product on Amazon. Alright, there we go. Now, side skirts are fixed right. Still got to put that one in down there, but it's not going anywhere. So, that's great. There you have it, the finished product of the Mark IV TDI wagon. I will say I'm very happy with how it turned out. In my opinion, this thing is looking really good. So just to recap everything that we did the dark housing headlights, we have the blacked out side markers, the 20th GLI front lip, 20th GLI side skirts, and the paint matched rear valance, as well as a set of WRD coilovers and the ASA AS1 wheels. And that's pretty much everything that we did in this video. Now, I call these 20th GLI side skirts just because in my head that's what they are. They're basically the Mark IV GLI 1.8 turbo. So they look like 20th to me, so that's what I call them. I don't know if that's what they're actually supposed to be called or not, but that's what I call them. So just, it's not some weird thing. It's their 1.8 turbo GLI side skirts. But, so, that's going to be the finished product of this car. Like I said, very happy with how it turned out. And overall, think that it really finished out this car. Now, I do plan on getting the car tinted, and I would also like to put a roof rack on it, but that's going to be a little bit into the future. But as of right now, this is going to be how this car sits. I have some things to button up with it yet, overall, and just go over everything. But in total, the thing is looking pretty good, and this car is actually going to be for sale. So if you're interested in it, let me know. But as of right now, I'm just going to probably drive the car around for a little bit, shake it down, make sure everything's all good. But all these modifications that we did today, you know, as you guys can see, definitely made a big improvement on this car, in my opinion. I think that it looks really good. But with that, that's going to be a wrap on this video. I appreciate y'all for watching. Make sure to like the video and subscribe if you guys want to see more. And let me know what you think of, you know, the Mark IV content, because, you know I made my first video with this car. It hasn't made a return since then. So bringing it back a little bit, that was fun. But let me know what you guys think of the build of it, and what you guys would have done differently if it was yours, and let me know if you like the video. But with that, that's going to be a wrap on this one, and I appreciate y'all for watching. Stay tuned for the next one. Peace.